Shout out. No kid hungry. Let's do this. So, I want to take you back to a time when you're a little kid and it's Thanksgiving. Your parents have spent hours putting together the meal. Family and friends start to arrive. You're sort of all gathering, getting ready. And then there's that call to dinner. And you know how this goes. There's a large table with all the stuff is there and the turkey and the trimmings, everything's on the table. And there's a large amount of table space for everyone to sit, but it's not that big. So what happens to you? Off to the kids' table. And for years you were at the kids' table and you felt okay about that. You had some fun with your siblings or cousins or friends and everything, but then something magical happens. You're called up. You're called up to the big table. And this is big time. I mean, you might not get a glass of wine still, but you're there. You made the show. You moved up. Good on you. And there was that sense of belonging. You made it. You're part of the crew. Felt pretty good, didn't it? Or how about this one? You're in high school. And you go into the cafeteria and you're looking around and you go to that sea of humanity. People are seated and they're eating, but they're also keeping their eyes up and they're looking around. Who's looking at who? Who wants to sit with us? Who's allowed to sit with us? And there you are standing there. And there's that one table. It's the cool kids table. You don't think you're supposed to be there. And if you're a freshman or you're just starting out, you probably aren't going to be there. Bums you out, doesn't it? But then at some point, something magical happens. Friends of yours are at a table somewhere, or they see you from a distance looking around, and they call to you, "Hey, come here." And you're called. Come sit at the table. You find your place. There's something about leadership that's very similar to this. There are choices in leadership that are very, very personal. What you decide to do with your role as a leader. And I've talked a lot about this here at Connect the Dots Movement. I've talked to a lot of clients and friends and colleagues about that component of leadership. But then there's the secondary part, which is those who you are leading and their choices they have to make. Sometimes you're called up because it's just your time. You've made the table. And sometimes you're called up because they just like you. They're following you because they like you. Skills be damned, it's just you. And the truth be told, leadership is probably some kind of combination of both because you have to have the skills. I mean, you need to have the skills to be a good leader, to represent you, your brand, your organization, your board, your staff. But there's the other part too. You need to evoke leadership, to show it by example, but exude it by just your being. You have to feel like somebody's a leader, and then the other people need to say, "I want to follow you." So then again, it goes back to the question of leadership. Is leadership just a skill? Well, there are skills that are needed for leadership. There are skills you can hone. It's like a muscle. There's some muscle memory here once you get into leadership and understanding what it is. So yeah, you can learn leadership. But leadership is also something that's in you, that you are able to showcase or bring out, to represent in certain ways. That's what gets you called up sometimes too. So here's the flip side to this. Leadership doesn't necessarily mean that you have to follow the crowd. It doesn't mean that you have to color by numbers and be the leader that everybody else thinks you need to be. Sometimes being a leader means not to listen to anybody. And that's the conundrum of leadership. Because sometimes following the rules and following policies and procedures seems to be the way to leadership. And sometimes the last thing you should do is listen to everybody else. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. My name is DK. I'm with Connect the Dots Movement. We're a non-profit consulting firm working with nonprofits and social enterprise engines, helping them on their leadership, their teamwork, their fundraising, their board building, strategic planning, marketing, special events. That's what we do. So if you are a nonprofit or a small business social enterprise engine, you want some information about us or to learn a little bit more about how we can help you, shoot me an email right here, doug@connectthedotsmovement.org. We're also on social media, as you can see from this here video. So if you like it, like and share it around. We're on facebook.com/Connect the Dots Movement. We're also on Twitter, so if you want to send us questions, I do questions all the time, Q&As, and I get a lot of them from Twitter. So if you want to ask me a question about either a topic for the video like this or a question you want me to answer to you, send it right here at We Connect Dots, and I'd be more than happy to connect up with you. So guys, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. My name is DK, and you have just been connected. See you around.
Yeah, the boys are on the prowl. Oh, the jack and the meat. You know, a bird in the hand is worth two on the street.
Non-profit power.